How you doing, everybody? Nick DiVirgilio here. It's a gorgeous day in Norwell, Massachusetts, and I am at the Zildjian cymbal factory. This is gonna be so cool. I'm gonna hang out with Paul Francis. He's gonna send us through the factory, talk about the history, and see how their cymbals are made. It's a really fun thing to see and to check out. So join me now, and let's go see how these cymbals are made. It's a lot of fun just walking in the building, first off, because there's so much history that hits you right in the face as you walk into Zildjian. These are some modern kits, of course. You got Trey Cool's Green Day kit, Animal from the Muppets, but you do have Ringo Starr's old Ludwig over there. And as you get around the building, you'll see some more drum kits and old cymbals, and just the history is really cool. Join me. One thing I definitely want to show here and pay a little close attention to is one of Gene Krupa's original drum kits. Check this one out. Come on now, that is super cool to see. Paul.
Nick, how are you?
Thanks so much for having me here today, man.
Welcome to Zildjian.
This is a real joy for me to be here. I've never been.
Yep.
And just walking into the building and seeing the history,
Yep.
the vibe, which is a big deal for me. I love the vibe of the place. The old drum kits. Gene Krupa's drum kit is just right over
Isn't
there.
that fantastic?
I mean, come on, I played Sing 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 when I was 6 years old, you know,
Nice.
and it's just an amazing. So where are we at right now? What is this place we're standing at?
So if you were to come in and to get a tour,
Right.
we start here. We have some tiles here on the wall with some great historical facts. Well, and I've been with Zildjian for a long time.
Yeah.
But
How long?
30 years.
Ooh.
Yeah. So a few
And
minutes.
I'm interrupting here, but you've done everything in this place, haven't you?
I've done a lot of things in the factory.
Yeah.
Started off as a lathe operator. I did that for 7 years. And then within that 7 years, I did cymbal testing. Then I got into the R&D department in 1995 and really started to stretch out and learn all facets of cymbal manufacturing.
Okay.
Yeah. So all these tiles kind of get into from 1618, 1623, and then I can't emphasize enough how we have Avidus III to thank for his working with the drummers of the day.
Right.
You know,
I mean, you walk around, interrupting
No,
you, you
not
walk
at
around
all.
this building just to see the pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Every great drummer of the day, you'll see walking down this hall in just a second, all the pictures of all the drummers. It's just, the history is amazing.
Avidus was smart enough to go out to really the rock and roll stars of the day and say, what do you need
Right.
to create music? And I'll make it for you. And the great thing is that we continue
To this
day to do the same thing.
Sure.
Zildjian has always followed the music, so we continue to do it.
And you're doing an amazing job, of course.
So, do you want to show some of the pictures?
I do. Let's go check out some of the
All right,
pictures.
let's go. That's a great picture of Chick Webb right there.
Yeah.
He was the Buddy Rich of the day.
Right.
You know, he was the superstar.
Nice.
So a lot of the pictures that people have seen in a lot of books, these are the originals.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, all the Gene Krupa stuff, the Benny Goodman Band, Max Roach, Tony Williams as a young kid.
Yep.
It's great.
So of course we're going to stop right here because
This is
I don't know any drummer that wouldn't think this is cool because this is a replica of the old Quincy factory door.
This is pretty sweet.
But within this window here, we have some vintage Zildjian cymbals that were made
Right.
anywhere from 1935 to 1955. There's 10,000 cymbals in here, and there's some serious paper-thin cymbals in this room. So every once in a while, I get to go in and.
But you were telling me,
Fix
your key doesn't work.
I
to go
can't.
in.
This is
really
like
is
the one door I can't open in the whole factory. I have to go get Craigie's key from.
right. This is
So we
it
can
is a
go
very
in.
special room.
Yeah. So it's fun to go in there and kind of go through the cymbals. I
can imagine.
Some of them, they look like they were just made yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, they haven't tarnished or anything. It's really fantastic.
That's cool. Very
You know?
cool.
And in here, this is our drummer's lounge that I talked about. So if you're one of our artists and want to pick out a cymbal setup, you get to come in here. And it's essentially, it's a lounge. You
Yeah.
know, you come in, we want you to feel comfortable. We'll sit and we'll discuss.
Yeah. And
I do a lot of, reviewing of prototypes with artists in here. So I've spent a lot of time in this room with a lot of
can
drummers.
imagine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, really great. So from here, we should probably go out into the factory because that's where
it's
the
time to
magic
see it
happens.
happen?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm excited.
So now I'm not going to show you the everlasting gobstopper machine, but you'll get the idea.
I can't
Okay.
wait. All right.
I'm going to give you those.
Okay.
Because we need to be safe.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
So I'm going to bring you up to the outside of the room where the magic happens.
Okay, let's do
Now,
it.
like I said, I've been here for 30 years. I'm not allowed in, ever. But if they do what they do the right way every day, then I can do my job.
Right.
All right. This is our foundry. This is our melting room.
Right.
And they're melting right now. When the red light is on, that means that they're taking 80% copper, 20% tin. They're putting it together in such a way, and we're able to take that liquid metal, put it into a crucible, and pour it into big open. They're look like big cereal bowls, actually, made out of iron. And once the metal has solidified and turned into what we call a casting, looks like a discus, then they'll dump that out of the pot. Once they get a batch of them going, we take them out here, we inspect them for weight and appearance, and then we can start our process of cymbal making.
Okay.
There's 4 guys outside of the Zildjian family that are long-term employees that know the secret. I'm not allowed in, like I said, but that's okay. If they do what they do the right way, I can do what I can do. All right? So let's go over and check out some castings.
Okay.
So this is Dennis. Now Dennis and I used to play in a band together because Dennis plays guitar as well.
Okay.
I've known Dennis for 30 years. So what size castings did you pour, Dennis?
This is a 910.
A 910. So what are we making from that?
It's going to be a 20-inch K, maybe 21 K Constantinople.
21-inch K Constantinople? Something like that? Okay. So the great thing that I think everybody should know is that all the professional series Zildjian cymbals are all made from the Zildjian secret alloy.
Right.
So there's no alloy for A or K or A custom. The beauty of this metal is that how after we roll it in the type of cup and how we manipulate the metal through hammering and shaping and lathing is where we get the sounds. And so, all right, I'm going to put you on the spot. You ready? How do you feel that you're responsible for a 400-year-old metal recipe?
I get overwhelmed.
It is overwhelming, I'm sure, yeah.
I mean, when I'm in the room, I'm watching everything, the whole process. I'm the Santa Claus of cymbals right now.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Perfect, yeah.
How warm are they? Okay. So just so everybody knows, they sound incredible right now.
Yeah.
Shine.
So that's the secret that you hear. It's fantastic. So they're musical right out of the gate.
way, yeah.
So what's going to happen from here, we're going to go over to the oven. We're going to load the castings into the oven, heat them up, stress relieve them, so we can start rolling.
Okay.
All right?
Perfect.
Thank you.
Great to meet you.
All right. You want to be on camera? So what are you guys rolling?
Rolling splashes.
Splashes. All right.
9 and 10.
All right. So we have. So these guys are rolling. This is called a split oven, and we call a batch of cymbals an oven of cymbals because we cook them in a big oven.
Right.
Okay. So this batch is going to be split between a 9-inch K Custom Hybrid splash and a 10-inch A Zildjian splash. The oven's running about 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. It's run with natural gas, and you can see it's just glowing red. So he's a short rake operator. He grabs the blanks off of the tray and passes them to the rolling mill operator, and you can see they're glowing red.
Yeah.
And he passes them through steel rollers. On the other side, there's a gentleman with like a really, really high-tech piece of equipment called a coal shovel, and he catches all the blanks.
Right. Okay.
We don't call them cymbals yet because they're not cymbals. Right. Gets rolled. It's going to go back in. What do you want? Your third pull? Fourth. Okay. These are going to go through into the oven 8 times, through the rolling mill 7 times to get to the thinness.
Now, is it like a conveyor belt inside this thing?
Yep.
So
it goes in a circle. So there's 22 trays inside, and we split up the batch of cymbals onto each tray.
One time around is a full, and it comes back out?
Yep.
Okay.
So it takes about a half an hour.
Okay.
So to roll this batch of cymbals, just this one batch, it's going to take about 5 hours.
Okay.
So what's going to happen when he's on the 7th pull, which is going to be like another hour and a half, 2 hours before they're done, we slow the rolling mill down,
he'll do the first tray, and then he'll come around as the rolling mill operator, and he'll mic the edges to make sure it's the right thickness. This model has to be anywhere between 29 and 31 thousandths of an inch thick.
Okay.
We don't want them to be thicker, because if you just go up to 32 thousandths of an inch, you're adding so much extra work to a lathe operator. And I know this for a fact, because I lathed for so long. So,
And that's such a small amount, you would think. But
when you're doing a small splash like that, you could be adding ounces of metal that you wouldn't have to take off. So this really has to be done. So when he's got the right mill setting, and it's the right thinness, then he's going to put them on these vented tables, just like what you see here.
and they just cool off.
And we got to cool off. And this garage door is always open, even in the dead of winter. We could have a blizzard, and this door's open. Okay. So when the blanks come through the rolling mill, they're not 1,500 degrees, they're about 900 degrees, but they're
still
really,
hot.
really hot.
Yeah, of course.
So we have all kinds of batches of cymbals here. So this is going to be a 20-inch Corot ride.
Okay.
So everything's predetermined what we're going to make.
Right.
Okay. These ones are some 22-inch Corot. We have a 22-inch K Constantinople Renaissance. It's K-Day at the factory.
Right.
So now one of the things that's great about this alloy with the 20% tin is that you get a great mix of highs, mids, and lows. But because there's 20% tin in this alloy, when they're in this state, in the rolled state, they're literally like glass. If I was to take one of these and drop it on the floor, it would shatter, okay? And that's because of the tin content.
Okay.
So how do we keep them from breaking? So the next step that we're gonna do is we're gonna put these blanks back in the oven, okay? We're gonna heat them up. We're gonna take them out and we're gonna put its appropriate bell shape in there. Okay. Some things that people don't realize, like the larger the bell that's in the cymbal, the more volume you get, okay? The taller it is, the more highs you get. So if you have like a wider, shallow bell, you're gonna get a lot of volume, but you're not gonna get a ton of highs.
Okay.
So everything affects each other in the design of a cymbal. Everything has a means to an end.
Sure.
So there's a reason for it.
Okay.
So once we've cupped the cymbals, okay, we bring them over here and they're on carts. So it goes from this black slate color to this kind of golden bronzy color over here.
Right.
And let's check them out.
Okay.
So these are going to be 18-inch A-custom crashes, okay? So I'm going to play this because it has the bell, has the hole, and it's been quenched. I think it sounds cool just like this.
I love it too. It's a really cool, trashy, dark sound.
So it went from being very, very brittle, now it's malleable.
Okay.
And I should be able to bend this with my hands. And it'll stay there. So what we have to do, we have to take it from a brittle state to a malleable state so we can work it.
Right.
Okay? I'm a professional, don't try this at home. Okay? So it's not gonna break.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So one of the things that happens when the metal gets quenched in the tempering tank, the metal develops an outer crust of tin oxide. Okay? So cymbals are like lobsters. The crust is on the outside, and we're eventually going to shave that away to reveal the gold and bronze underneath. What we're going to do next is a lot of this tin oxide beats up on hammerheads and cutting tools. We're going to stick it in a blaster to kind of knock off all the loose oxide so we can get more life out of the tooling. Okay? So we do have some automation. We have a robot, a pick-and-place robot.
Right.
This one's unloading a batch of cymbals. So you can see the cymbals are a little bit cleaner.
Right.
Okay? We also use this to do our low volume and our new FX stacks to get that finish.
Okay.
So when the stack is all full, it comes over here to Jim.
Right.
This is our blanking press. We have two ways where we trim the excess metal off that we don't need. We either blank it or we can circle shear it.
Right.
Okay. So the great thing about this alloy is it's fully recyclable. Zildjian's been a green company for 400 years.
Right.
So we take the scrap ring, we cut it up. That's going to go in the melt room tomorrow. We're going to make new cymbals with it. Okay. The blanks, they get trimmed to a little bit bigger than their final diameter. So when we shape it, it's still a 16-inch cymbal or 17-inch cymbal. Okay. So from here, we go into another room where we do all our cold working or our shaping and hammering and stuff like that.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, let's go check it out.
This gentleman, Scotty, he's hammering some 18-inch medium thin crashes.
Okay.
Okay. So we go from a blank that's been it's been shaped.
Right.
Okay. And like I said earlier, cymbals are a lot like, if you were to take a wire and turn it into a spring, we put energy into the metal.
Okay.
Okay. So when you're hammering, all you're doing is compressing the metal and making it stronger. So this is going to be an A. And I don't know if you can hear, but the pitch went up because we brought the curvature up. So it's starting to sound like a cymbal.
Right.
We're starting to line up the vibrations that we want to hear for this model. So it still sounds muted because it has that outer crust on it.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is we're going to take it from the hammering machine and go out to the lathes and shave them.
Okay.
All right? Let's go. So we come out here, right? This is where we do lathing. This is Mark. So Mark and I have been working together for 30 years.
Okay.
Mark's the boss out here in the lathing area on the first shift.
Right.
Okay. Everything that we do out here is by weight. So normally, when we lathe, we do the bottom side of the cymbal first and then the top side. But he's doing 12-inch Orientals. So on Chinas, we do the top side and then the bottom side. All right? So he has a weight spec that he has to meet for the top. It's going to be 1 pound 2 ounces to 1 pound 4 ounces.
Okay.
All he has, he's got a carbide cutting tool that he puts in a pole, he puts under his arm, and he rests on a bar and he lathes by hand. And it's really, really fantastic. So I did this for 7 years when I started here. Once the bottom is cut, then the pitch is going to go down because it's going to be brought down to its final weight, which is probably about 13, 14 ounces for this model.
All right.
Okay. A lot of drummers out there, they like to do grams, but and we write grams on a lot of the Constantinoples and Caropes, but we do pounds, ounces in the factory.
Nice.
Yeah.
And weren't you telling me that, watching how he's holding the pole,
Yep.
it's all about the armpit,
It's the armpit,
right?
yeah.
That's kind of where the pressure comes in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, are Chinas with the lip harder to lathe?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're going to do Chinas, you're the most experienced lathe operators. When you start learning how to lathe, we start you on newbie bottoms because they're heavy.
Right.
Yeah. So there's more room for you to kind of learn and get a feel for shaving, because that's what you're doing. You're shaving the metal. And then over here, this is Jason. So Jason's only been lathing for a couple years.
Okay.
Okay. He's really, really good. So he's finished lathing. These have already gone through the bottom pass, which we call inside lathing. They've been roughed. Now he's going to do a finish pass on the top, bring it down to its final weight.
Okay. And it's a pretty fast process too.
It is. It looks deceivingly simple,
but no, I can imagine.
But you can ruin weeks worth of work.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to grab a glove because I want to play one right off the lathe, because they're still kind of dull sounding. Okay. All right. And I don't know if you witnessed this yet or you noticed. We have radios playing all the time. We love listening to music while we're playing, making the cymbals. Let me have that one. So it's not really ringing out because it got beat up through the process and it's warm through the cutting, the friction of the cutting tools.
Right.
So in about 48 hours, it's going to really, really open up.
Okay.
After they're done, it comes over to an edging operator. His name is George. He's been here for about 45 years.
Nice.
He worked for Avidus and then Armand, Craigie and Debbie now, and he's fantastic. I've been, again, working with him for 30 years. Let's go meet George.
Okay.
Hi, George. You're gonna be on camera. So George, Nick, George.
Where you come from?
Sweetwater, Indiana.
Oh, that's the same guy?
Yeah. Yeah. So you're edging some cymbals. You're edging some 13¼ inch K-Custom hybrid hi-hat top. So George edges 90% of all the cymbals we make.
Okay.
And what that means is after they come off the lathe, he's going to bring it down to its final diameter, okay, and smooth the edge. So when George is all done edging, you would think we could print them and trademark them.
Not yet.
Not yet. We got to go play them. We have to have a cymbal tester play every single one.
That's an interesting story right there too.
Yeah. So let's go down and let's see Maybe we'll meet Leon.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
All right.
So all the cymbals come in here. This is the cymbal testing room.
Okay.
Gentleman at the desk, that's Leon. He's been here more years than he'd like to admit.
Okay.
Okay. Jeff Westhaver, our other cymbal tester on the first shift. All the cymbals come in here and they get played.
Yeah, and because we did this, we walked through earlier, or we were figuring out what we were going to shoot.
Yep.
And it's still kind of blowing my mind, that statement. Every cymbal that's made before it goes, it has to come to this room first.
It's not a Zildjian cymbal until one of these guys says
And that's
it's a Zildjian
thousands
cymbal.
and thousands of cymbals at a time. I mean, a lot of stuff.
Every single one you see.
Uh,
Every Zildjian cymbal you see, it's me or Leon.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So I'm going to hit it, just takes 2 or 3. Make sure it sounds correct. You can hear the pitch go up and go down. Everything's a little bit different. Every cymbal is unique. Can you hear the pitch going down? They're all a little bit. And that's all the time I need. Over time, you can pick it up quicker and quicker the more you do it.
So, how do we know that the cymbal sounds right? Da da da!
So this is our tuner of a 17-inch A custom crash. This is what we are trying to make when we are making a 17-inch A custom crash.
Okay.
Right, clean, cutting, clear. The standard, the least will vary off of that sound and still call it a Zildjian cymbal. The same cymbal. Little lower, a little more dirt in it, but still a beautiful sound to that cymbal. What that does is it gives you what you prefer to play, not what we want you to play.
Right.
It's what your ear prefers. Everybody likes different music. Everybody plays different.
But here's different.
Beauty of it.
Yeah.
Some
Makes total
cymbals
sense.
speak to you, some cymbals don't. Doesn't mean it's a bad cymbal. It means
Right.
that one doesn't speak to you.
Right. Simple as
So
that,
we,
yeah.
we don't pigeonhole you into it has to be this.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So
Beautiful.
once a cymbal tester says it sounds the right way, now it's a Zildjian cymbal.
Okay.
And we can print it and trademark it
And
sell it.
And sell it.
Yeah.
Get it to the people.
All right.
Make some music.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you, sir.
Well, my pleasure.
Thanks, man.
Anytime. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's go see the next step.
All right.
Hi, Dave. Will you kill the radio?
Oh, that smell. If you like the smell of paint,
So all the
This is
cymbals.
your room.
This is it. And the air is exchanged like every 2 minutes.
oh yeah, I
believe it
can
or not.
imagine. Yeah, because you couldn't stand in here forever like that. Yeah.
No, you wouldn't, because you'd be like,
You'd be stuck.
all the cymbals come in here. We have a couple different printing lines.
Right.
This one over here, we do all our professional series cymbals because we do them in smaller batches.
Right.
And then we have one that has a robot that loads and unloads. So if we have larger runs of cymbals, we'll set up the printer once, okay? On this side, we're doing FX stack bottoms. And the cymbal gets picked up off the stack, goes into the laser etch machine. And we started laser engraving the cymbals back in 1994.
Okay.
Before that, we rolled a trademark into the cymbals.
Right.
And we wanted to have a unique identifier on each cymbal. So we bought a laser etch machine that has a 2-letter year code, batch number, and what number it was in the batch. So it's unique to you. No one else has the number that you buy.
Right.
You know. So that allows you to insure your cymbals, and it's unique to you. Also, it allows us to keep track of stuff in case if there's some returns.
Sure.
You know. So over here, the printing operator, his name is Angel. So he's tweaking out the doctor blades to make sure that there's no weird lines
Okay.
in the printing.
How long does it take for this ink to dry? Once it's
Well,
on
you know,
there?
it's going to go on. We put it on the belt to go through the drying oven. So it really depends on the speed of him printing, how
okay.
long it sits in there.
Right.
But it doesn't take that long. I say a
Yeah.
couple minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Simple.
that beautiful?
Yeah. It's perfect. Yeah.
You know, put the Zildjian on the bottom, then we'll trademark it, and then we can sell it.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is what we got to see
Right.
today. Casting, rolling, cupping, tempering, hammering and shaping, lathing, and printing. Okay?
Paul, let me give you back my safety glasses.
All right. Thank
And,
you for coming in.
Dude, thank you so much for showing me the magic that is Zildjian. I mean, it's amazing, the history and still the modern day workings of how you make your cymbals, how Zildjian has come from so many years ago to today, and you're still totally current and, you know, at the top of your game. It's awesome.
We're trying to just stay with the drummers, follow the music,
Right.
and get the Sweetwater customers what they need.
Cool. Thank
All
you
right.
so much. Well, please
you.
come visit Sweetwater.
I will.
Anytime. And I'm going to go back to Sweetwater now and make some music with some Zildjian cymbals.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Take care.
Bye-bye.